I don't think we have seen Shakur face anyone higher than who he's gonna face next, and that's of me. So, I definitely, commend him at least for stepping up to the plate. But I think it's time. I think it's really that time for him to really take his first loss, and me whoop his to the point where either he quits on the stool or I knock him out.
Was interesting. What did you make of his vibe overall?
I think something mentally wrong with him. I don't think he's like all the way there mentally. I think he's crazy.
Legit?
That's my opinion. Yeah, I think he's legit crazy. I think something really wrong with him, but that's what make him dangerous. I think them the guys is the most dangerous people. Them delusional, crazy people who want to be the best and want their spot at greatness. So I gotta respect it, but I think something is definitely off.
Teofimo Lopez went toe-to-toe with Shakur Stevenson live.
We're going to see my power. They talk a lot about my defense, but they're going to see my power in this fight against Teofimo.
Shakur is slow. He's slow. I seen him at lightweight. I seen only highlights of his last fight with Cepeda, and he's slow. He's really slow. There's nothing more to it than.
Well, like, even if they're not friends, but they know each other like that, one of two things always happens. Either it's a sparring session, or it's brutal.
This ain't gonna be no sparring session. This is not gonna be no sparring session.
What's it gonna be?
He's coming to win. I'm coming to win. I guarantee you that.
I'm coming to conquer.
You're not conquering shit.
Tell us.
Conquer.
You're not conquering.
And you could feel the switch flip the moment he said, "This isn't Twitter fingers anymore. This is Rent doing boxing." Teo basically laughed at the online back and forth and said, "Yeah, we've been trading shots on social media. Now, let's trade them where it actually counts." And I loved that energy because it felt less like a promo script and more like, I'm tired of typing.
He's a very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Yeah.
It's food. It's lunch food.
He even gave Shakur his respect in a backhanded way, saying Shakur deserves credit for jumping straight to 140 with no tune-ups and stepping out of his comfort zone. But you could hear the follow-up loading like a power shot. Teo said flat out he's handing Shakur his first L and that it's not going to go how Shakur thinks, which is classic Teo confidence bordering on delusion, but that's always been part of the package.
He's just coming right to the guy, and that's me. The king of the 140 division, super lightweight division, that's Teofimo Lopez. And, he's willing to step up, get out of his comfort zone, and yeah, I give him that. However, it's not going to happen. I would love to, and I see myself giving him his first loss in his professional career.
Teofimo Lopez says that he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson dirty.
Stylistically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas.
I heard that concept from an icon.
That's depending on how masterful he is. You have to be dirty. You gotta be rough. You have to use the elbows, head, bending up. You have to use everything. And this guy, as far as his style is concerned, this guy is a master.
Then he dropped the real grenade. He said, fighting Shakur means making it ugly because if you try to out-chess the chess master, fans fall asleep and judges start flipping coins. He straight up rejected the whole best defense in boxing label. He said he sees flaws, called Shakur slow and overrated in speed, and claimed nobody Shakur has fought is on his level yet.
Can't be too technical with Shakur. You gotta make it a little ugly. You gotta make it a little ugly. If you try to be too technical with Shakur, it could be too long of a weighted chess match. Certain people don't want to see that. They don't want to see pop shots. They want to see good action. I don't think, for me, I don't see Shakur having the best defense in boxing. However, others can attest that. So, I just can't wait to really show the flaws that I see in Shakur Stevenson and, really putting that to the test.
And right on cue, Shakur fires back with that calm menace, saying stuff like, speed doesn't need hype. It shows up on time. And everybody sees flaws until they start missing, which honestly might be scarier than yelling. Teo talking about forcing a quit or a knockout after finding his fire again, especially after Times Square, sounds wild.
And though Shakur Stevenson is no Floyd Mayweather, he is considered probably the most superior, technically sound boxer in the world. So with Teofimo Lopez saying, hey, I'm going to do things that people may think is dirty, but it's legal. I can't fight in a very sound sportsmanship manner. I have to create chaos. And maybe Shakur Stevenson, maybe he can't operate in the chaos.
But that's the kind of belief that makes fights dangerous. Shakur counters with higher weight and the same brain and reminds him that being around Crawford doesn't give ambition. It sharpens discipline. This isn't just trash talk colliding. It's two identities crashing headfirst. Chaos daring control to blink first. And I'm telling you, somebody's confidence is getting audited in real time.
About Crawford in the past, and Crawford stated, "Oh, you only got to me."
Yeah, but he really wanted to fight Crawford, and we're gonna call him out after we beat up his boy. You know,
so that's still the game plan.
That's
even though you guys have, even if he requires you,
well, he ain't gonna fight us, man. He ain't gonna fight us, man. We've been chasing this guy for the longest. My son is even willing to go up to 160 to fight him. You know, listen, speed kills. You know what I'm saying? Speed kills, and that's why we're gonna beat Shakur. He ain't faster than us, and we're gonna catch him.
And right after Teofimo and Shakur spent all that time trading confidence like it was currency, Robert Garcia steps in and quietly reminds everybody that hype doesn't win rounds, decisions do. Garcia called it a great matchup, and I like how he didn't overcook it, because when a trainer like that says, great, he's really saying, dangerous for both. He acknowledged Teo's big wins and Shakur chasing history as a 3-division champ moving toward a 4th, but then he pivoted to the part fans always skip past, heart and brains.
Teofimo has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also a 3-division champion going for his 4th. You know, unbelievable talent. It's a fight where we're gonna see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man.
Garcia basically said this fight isn't about who looks flashier on Instagram. It's about who plays the better cards and who doesn't blink first. And that's such a coach answer. It almost hurts when he talks about this possibly not being wild action, but still having everyone standing up. That's real boxing language, because some fights feel tense, like a wire pulled tight, where every jab feels like it could tip the whole night. I'm with him there, because this isn't a fight where mistakes get erased, they get punished. Garcia saying it's about who's smarter and who makes fewer errors lines up perfectly with what we've been circling this whole time.
If Teofimo comes in at his best, because we've seen some great performances, but then we've also had those questions about Teofimo's mind, mentality in boxing, his future. So hopefully we get the best Teofimo, the Teofimo that wants to be the best in the world, because we know Shakur is one of those. Shakur always comes in as best he wants it.
Teo thrives when chaos bends his way. Shakur thrives when chaos gets denied entry. And the prime comment matters, too, because we don't get this enough. Two elite guys at the same time. No excuses, no 5 years, two late narratives. I also caught Garcia subtly saying heart matters just as much as IQ, which is a quiet reminder that chess matches still require nerve when the clock is ticking. This fight isn't about dominance. It's about composure under pressure. And Garcia basically told you without yelling that whoever manages their emotions better might walk out with everything.
That fight's gonna be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, that's what boxing is about.
And right after Robert Garcia laid out that calm grown man blueprint about composure and decision-making, Mikey Garcia slides into the conversation, sounding like the guy who's fought the puzzle and knows it doesn't come with instructions. Mikey didn't pretend there's some magic cheat code to Shakur. And I respect that, because when he says it's hard to say, that's not dodging. That's honesty. He pointed straight at Teofimo's size and time at the weight, basically saying, look, if you're the bigger, stronger guy, you don't ignore that. You lean into it, because advantages don't mean anything if you leave them in the locker room. But what made Mikey's take interesting is how quickly he pivoted to reality. Because right after mentioning size, he starts listing Shakur's defense, speed, and footwork like a checklist of headaches. That's Mikey acknowledging the danger without romanticizing it.